Welcome to my class, or whatever you want to call it, webinar on my favorite apps. So the reason why I came up with this is I talked about my setup that I have here, a few weeks ago, and then I thought, you know what, it'd be kind of fun to just talk about some of my apps as well. People ask me about this. Ward has asked me what browser I use. Other people asking me, about different things. So I thought, you know what, let's just go into some of my favorite apps. And I'm kind of going to break this up into my productivity apps. And what I might do down the road is go into more detail on some of these productivity. I'm just going to give an overview of these. And then if you're interested, maybe what I'll do is I can go into a little bit more detail of how I use these things, and maybe it'll help someone else down the road. So it's going to be productivity apps, and then I'll get into a little bit more of the fun apps as well. Just ones that I kind of play around with and help me out with making videos for my family and, trips and things like that. So let's get started and take a look at the first app. And the first app I'm going to highlight is actually an Apple app. I'm not going to turn this into an all Apple. Really, I do use some Apple apps, but as some of you know, I don't use Apple Mail. I just started using reminders, just started using it. I do use notes a little bit, but not too much. But there's the one app that I do use pretty much exclusively is Safari. And I'm going to share my screen here. Well, first of all, it integrates nicely with all of the, all of my devices, my iPhones, my iPads, my Macs. I actually do use two Macs. This MacBook Air has a demo account, which is what I'm demonstrating on. It has no personal information on it, so I don't have to worry about showing anything. But I do have another account on here that has my, I just went and met a friend of mine. We call it the board meeting. He does stuff online as well, so we just meet. He lives about 2 hours away, so we meet in the middle at a coffee shop, and we call it our board meeting, where we discuss different things. He wants to get more into the video and stuff like that. So I take this little MacBook Air here that I have, and I just log into my account, and all of my stuff is there. So I do use two Macs, and of course I have several iPads and an iPhone. So Safari works really great for me for all those devices. And the main reason why I use it, and there's some pitfalls to it, and I'll talk about that shortly. But the main reason why I do like it is everything just kind of syncs. So when I'm looking at a page on my web page here, I'm going to mute everyone. And if you have any questions, you kind of know how it works. Just unmute yourself and ask. Go ahead and interrupt me. And I also do have the chat open here, so you can put a question in the chat as well. So mute all. There we go. Still going.
You don't have to, just draw freehand. You don't have to,
There we go. Maybe.
No.
All right. So back to Safari. What I like about it is basically I have all of my bookmarks up here in my favorites bar. And this goes across all my different devices. So I can be on my iPad, my iPhone, or my Mac, or either one of my Macs, and get to my favorite bookmarks here. And the way that you do that is you just go up under View, and you go and show your favorite bookmarks. And if you want to put anything in there, you just show the sidebar here, and when you're looking at your bookmarks, you can just drag anything in there, and it'll show up right at the top here. So if I go and rearrange this, you're going to see it rearranges it here. The other nice thing about that is when I open up a new page, so this is a new page, here are all my favorites as well. So I can easily click on these to get to it. So I just think that's really nice, and I haven't played around with Chrome too much. I do use Chrome pretty much exclusively for YouTube stuff, because you almost have to. But I haven't really found anything that's really that nice. And what I like about this also is I can add stuff to the reading list, and I can access it here. So I can be on my iPhone, add it to the reading list, and then it shows up here. Or if I'm on here and I want to read it on my iPhone or my iPad, everything just shows up. And even here, recently closed tabs, and I can show my tabs from my other devices. Let's see here. Nope, not showing me. It'll show your tabs from your iPad or your iPhone as well, so you can continue reading on your Mac or whatever. So it just kind of all works together. Also, I am an iCloud keychain. You know, they manage all of my passwords. So it just works right within Safari. Now there is a Chrome extension if you're using Mac OS Sonoma where you can get your iCloud keychain into your Chrome or Brave or whatever you're using. And that's great. Now you can actually access all of your keychains. But the problem with that is when I go to Chrome and I want to access my keychain here, what I need to do is I always need to click on this, and then I have to go and enter in this code. And you only have to do it one time, but every time I open up Chrome, I do have to do that one time. So it's basically per session. Little inconvenience, but it does make it a little bit nicer. I can access all of my passwords, but I just like the way that this works, and it just integrates together really well. And I think I've been very happy with Safari. The other thing is when you're on your iPad or your iPhone, technically you're still using Safari even though you're using Chrome. So Apple does not allow any other browser engine to be on the iPhone or the iPad. So all Chrome is just Safari wrapped in a different interface. So you're still using Safari even if you're using Chrome on your iPad or iPhone. But I just like how it works, and so that's one of my favorite apps, Safari. Something that I very happily use. Now the problem with it, as I mentioned, is the extensions. With Chrome, we can have extensions. We can have extensions in Safari here. Oops, still in Chrome. I can download extensions in here, but they are nowhere near what you can do with Chrome. Chrome just has all kinds of extensions that you can use, and it just works really, really well. I got another phone call there. So I'll use Chrome for YouTube because I do use a few extensions to monitor my stats and all that, and that you can't get in Safari. So that's basically what I use Chrome for. Outside of that, Safari is my go-to for browsers, and that's why.
Michael, with a quick question. On Safari, are you using that also for your search engine, and or is Safari do you ever have any issues with any web pages there's a better browser than Safari?
I don't. You used to run into that quite a bit. I don't run into any issues with browsing websites, and I think the big thing with that is these companies have to make it work on an iPhone, which means they have to make it work for Safari. It's using WebKit.
Jones, the new college is haven for Harvard refugees.
We're going to mute everyone here. Mike, if you have more questions. But basically, I haven't run into any problems with that. As far as search, I still use Google. I've tried DuckDuckGo and it works pretty good. I tried Brave, and it works pretty good. But Google is the king. Good or bad, they still are the best. So I still use Google search. I would try to get off of that every once in a while, but I always come back to Google for search. So hopefully something will come. Everybody. I don't know if everybody knows this, but they are being sued by the government. Monopoly and all that kind of stuff because they do. Google's doesn't play nice, in my opinion. So hopefully that can change down the road. And I would love to see Apple open up the iOS and iPad OS to other browser engines. I mean, Safari's great, but that doesn't mean it's the only one. How are we going to move forward with better browser engines if we can't even put it on what most people have as their personal device here in the United States? Most people have an iPhone or an iPad. So it's kind of hard to innovate when you can't even put it on most of the devices out there. So, a little tough. So I still use Google primarily for everything. So, all right. The next thing that I use for production is Canva. And Canva is what I would consider a cheap man's version of Photoshop, if I may say that, right? It's very easy to use compared to Photoshop, I think. And it can't do as much as Photoshop, but I don't think a lot of people need to do what Photoshop does. And in some cases, it can do a lot more than what Photoshop does. So I will use Canva for a lot of my stuff, and we're going to open it up here and take a look at it. I do use the paid version of it. It's about, I think it's about $60 a year, but well worth it. And it works on the iPad, the iPhone, and the Mac. Primarily, I use it on the Mac. It's a little bit easier to use on the Mac. And with Canva, which everybody knows the name Guy Kawasaki. He was Apple's chief evangelist back in the day. Oops, I need to log in here. I thought I did this. I'll show you my designs and all that. But anyway, as I log in here, Guy Kawasaki is the guy behind. He's now the evangelist for Canva, and he has been for several years. And I've read several of his books. I really like him and what he has to say, and I trust him. And if he thinks that Canva is good enough for most people, then I'm going to say it's good enough for me. And it is good enough for me. So let's see here. All right, so this is Canva. And essentially with Canva, what we can do is we can create basically anything with this. And I mentioned this to the Alaska group last night, and one of their members said, yeah, I create Christmas cards with it. And it's just so easy to do. So I'll just go and create, we'll just start with something simple. Let's say I wanted to create Christmas cards. So I'd click on the plus, and all I have to do is just say Christmas cards. And they do have a free version, so you're going to be able to try this out and primarily use most of the stuff. We're going to go with family Christmas card. Okay, and if we look over on the left here, we have all of these, and you can see I'm just scrolling. They have, I can't tell you, hundreds of templates. And the nice thing about these templates, let's just go with this one here. The nice thing about these templates is I can just go and click here and change it. So I could go Happy Hanukkah if I wanted to. I can change this text. Want to change the image? Okay. All I have to do is drag and drop. I can put a different image in here. So I have a number of images in here. Now these are work images, but let's see if I have anything that is halfway fun. I don't want to open up my photos library because that's my personal account, but let's just go with this one here. So I just go and drag that on there, and that's it. Oh, I want that to be a green ribbon. Okay, I can change the color green. Very easy to use. You want to make a variation of this? Okay, well, let's just duplicate it. And now I can go and create a green one, and I can compare them side by side. Really simple to use. Let's say you wanted to create a presentation. And this is a slam against Keynote. I love Keynote. I use Keynote for what I'm doing here. But check this out. Christmas card or Christmas presentation. 16 by 9. Sure. Look at all these presentations that we can create. So let's just go with this one. Let's drag it on there. And now I want to add all 15 slides. You're going to see I have here all 15. Let me turn on Cursor Pro here so you can see this. So I apply all 15 pages. Oops. Add as new page. Let's try this again. Apply. There. Well, I guess I have to add them separately. Boom. Add new page. Add new page. So I'm just adding these slides in here. We'll go with one more. Now what I can do is go into each one of these and change the text. I can change the background. Maybe I want to make this a little bit more blue. So we just go and change it to a little blue there. I can go and change the icons or the images. Maybe I want to have a Christmas tree in here. So I just go over here to Elements and I type in Christmas tree. Yeah, that one. Now you're going to see it says Pro, so I can use this because I do pay for it. But if it doesn't have Pro, I can just take that, take one that's not Pro. Now I just added a Christmas tree in there. Scroll up, go to the next one. Now what we need to do is we need to add transitions. So let's go and click on each one of these. And I need to add a transition. We'll go with color wipe. We'll go with line swipe. We'll go with match and move, which is like a magic move. We'll go with dissolve. And now I make all my changes and all that. I hit present. And there it is.
Dan, can a small business use this? There's no
Absolutely. This is what I use.
If you're a nonprofit, you can get a free account.
Oh, perfect. There you go. Thank you.
Free pro.
There you go.
Free pro account.
There you go, nonprofit.
Go. Yes. Well, sometimes I feel I'm that way. But that's how easy it is. And I'm sorry, Keynote. This is going to be better than what I can create in Keynote. But the beauty of it is if you do want to use it in Keynote, go to Share, and you can download it. I don't want it as a PDF. I want it as a PowerPoint, and we know that Keynote can open up PowerPoint presentations. You're going to have a little problems here and there, but it'll get you there. And then you have all of your stuff in there. It's all, you got a nice PowerPoint presentation, and they got thousands of designs. They do magic stuff. I'll call it, they call it magic. I'm going to say it's AI. So let's go over to, here's my thumbnails. So if I go here, this is my thumbnails, and I try different versions of thumbnails out. And I was showing this to my friend at our meeting that we had today, how I use Canva, ironically. But I'm going to go put an image in here. Just going to delete that. And let's go with element. And we need to have an iPhone. I need, here we'll go to photos. I want a photo. Well, let's stick with Christmas, being that Christmas is coming now, right? Halloween's done. All right, so I want to have a vertical one. Is this a vertical one? All right, that's good enough. So I have that, but you know what? I need this to fill up the entire thing. We know that Photoshop can do that. Well, we can now do that with Canva as well. So I just go to edit the photo, and we have all these different effects that we can apply, filters, things like that. But if we go over to crop, I'm not going to crop it, I'm going to expand on it. So I go over here to expand, and I want to fit the entire page. Watch what happens here. It's going to analyze that, and it is going to make that larger with AI. I'm going to have 4 different choices. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So once it gets done, there's a little graph here. And there it is. I don't like that one. Let's go with this one. You can see it put a little wall over here for that one. Let's go with this one. It put a little tinsel or something there. I'll go with that one. I'm not a big fan of that one. That one doesn't look right. Let's go with this one. So there it is. There's my expanded thing. So if you have an image, and you can even put your own images in here. And if you need to, extend that, make it a little bit larger or whatever, that's how you can do it, all with Canva. You need to create videos. If we go to the plus here in this thumbnail, and you're going to see it has all these different Facebook, Instagram for business, kind of thing, all these different things, Instagram stories. But generally, you just go and search and do your thing. So it's a great tool, I think, for small businesses and even personal accounts. So,
Dan, I believe they have a whole series of tutorials and or classes to get people started. Is that true?
do they? They might. I mean, it's it wouldn't
Yes,
surprise
it is
me.
true.
It is true. Thank you. Yeah. So there you go.
I've done about 500 designs in Canva.
Have you? So you like it, I assume.
I use it all the time.
Now, somebody told me that you can actually print cards and all that from there too. They have print services. Have you heard that, Ann?
Yes, and I have used them.
Okay.
I use
So,
them for stickers and also for flyers.
right. So there you go. You could get Christmas cards printed from them even, you know. And you can easily make collages. So if you wanted to do a collage, which you can't do easily, I'm going to go with a collage landscape. And all I have to do is just select which one I want to use. Let's see here, we'll go with that one since we're on a Christmas theme. And all I have to do is just drag and drop my different photos in here. So it pretty much does everything. And as you can see, it's pretty simple to use. I think it seems to be pretty simple to use. And then you can easily create derivatives of it, different options, and see which one you like better. And like Ann said, you can go and print them and do other things with it. Here's their little magic thing. It'll help you write. So if you wanted to write a little poem, I'm not a poet, so I can go in here with Magic Write, uses AI, just go poet, and didn't know it. See what it does. Often used by, okay, so except I'm not that good with that kind of stuff, but you know, it'll go and write whatever you want to have for you and rewrite it using AI. So
feature that I like the best is where you can resize a document if you've got a flyer laid out in landscape, but you also need an image in portrait or vice versa. You just go under File and you can resize it to any size you want.
And then you can go and
copy the original and
copy the original.
Yeah.
And Magic Switch also will do something along that line. This magic stuff is relatively new, isn't it, Ann? I think they have added this in the last couple of weeks.
That's new.
So search resize options. So you know, this is square, so it's made for Instagram. So let's just say I needed this for video. So now what it's going to do is resize it for video. And open the video collage, and now you can see it's wider. So that's what Ann was talking about. You can go and resize it. Maybe I want this for portrait. And we need to make it booklet. Let's just go with booklet portrait. So you create it, and then you can create all these different versions. And there it is. There's one of two. So parent, there. Okay, so there's two of them. So I just copy and resize. Open the booklet. And there's my booklet. So it'll resize it. And then you can go and drag these elements outside of there as well if you wanted to. They are just separate elements. So, and you can layer them and all that kind of stuff. So really, really neat stuff. And it also handles video as well. You just go down here to video and you can search for Christmas tree. Pop that on there. And there's a video of a Christmas tree. Not real clear, I picked the wrong one, but you get the idea. So if you needed to create a little video for Instagram, TikTok, whatever you're doing, I do it for my videos. So what I just created today, a video on how you can submit errors to Apple Maps to help fix it. You know, so what I talked about the hours in where is it? Right here. So I talked about the, looks like it's gone there, but I talked about the hours, and then I said also if a location is in the wrong place. So as I'm talking, I'm interjecting a video in the thing, so you're just not looking at me. And I found these videos, and this is actually a video where they go and like point around like they're lost. That's not it. So it kind of, you know, accentuates what I'm talking about. So I just pop that into Final Cut Pro, and it's good to go. So Canva is really, really, really good. And I'm very happy with it. So Peter asked, where do you print 10 by 20 Christmas cards and get envelopes? So, and I know you can print with this. Do they do the envelopes as well? Do you know? Maybe she's not there. But Canva does do the printing, so maybe they will send them out. I don't have the answer for that. So, but that's Canva. Very, very cool stuff. So the next tool that I use in my arsenal is Notion. So I am a big FileMaker Pro fan. I'm going to switch my account here. And with FileMaker Pro, which is a database, as most of you probably know, and it's a pretty heavy database. It's expensive nowadays. I needed something a little bit more. I switched from FileMaker Pro over to Tapforms 5. Tapforms 5 works great. Nothing against it. And then I went to Airtable, another database, online database, and that works great. But what I've discovered is I need something more than a database. So this comes along Notion. Notion are one of these, there seem to be a new trend in some of these apps that try to do a little bit of everything. So Notion has a database in it, but it also has other stuff in it. So I'm going to open up my Notion here. And it is available on the Mac, iPad, and iPhone. So this here is Notion. And this is basically how I use it. So here's my lesson organizer. So these are just different ideas that I have for what I want to record. So we can see I have all these different ideas that are floating around in my head. Place to put them, number one. But on top of that, I can keep track of if they're recorded. So these are the 5 that I have recorded. And these are the ones that are going to be relatively easy, so I can put them out a little bit quicker. And then I have these are just ready to record, at least in my head, they're ready to record. And then these are going to be a little bit more, I have to research them, that kind of thing. So it's a place for me to put them in there. And this is just a simple database at this point. But this is where the fun comes in. So let's go with Find Your Lost Apps. So what I want to do is create a video. I just had someone, said, I just lost an app. I don't know where it is. So I thought, that would be a pretty good video, just a real quick one to, how you can search for it, if it's in the library, that kind of thing, or if you deleted it. So I would go here to open it up, and here's my database side of it. But if we look here, I have a checklist in there. I can put tasks in there. I can put a description in there, subtitle ideas, title ideas, and here's the beauty. AI comes into this. This is how I do stuff with AI. So I like the style of David Pogue. I like how he writes. It's a little bit on the lighter side, not so serious. I've always liked David Pogue. So what I have to do here is I have to say I need to change this, default, in first person on this. So I'm just going to cut this and ask AI to write. Now, all it knows right now is the title, Find Your Lost Apps on the iPad. That's all it knows. So I'm just going to go in here and say, write a description in first person in the style of David Pogue for a video on this. For this video, join me as we dive in the world of iPad apps and uncover the secrets to finding those elusive lost apps. I'll show you the tricks and techniques to navigate your iPad like a pro and ensure that no app goes missing again. Get ready to reclaim control. So if I don't like that, I can say, try again. And it's going to come up with a different version of it. Or I can be more descriptive, be a little more humorous, take out this word, that kind of thing, make it longer. And so I have my description there. Now what I need, because I need an excerpt for my website, create a 2-sentence excerpt. There it is. Perfect. All right. I need title ideas for YouTube. You got to make them exciting. I want to have 10 different titles. You know what? Give me 20. 10's not enough these days. And there it is. And now I have all of this. I can put images in here, create subtitle ideas, or I can go over here to brainstorm. Opens up a new page which is still related to it. And I can say, I am creating a video on how to find lost apps on the iPhone. Write a script for me. Oops, that's the title. I don't want that to be the title. All right, and there's a script for me. All with what I should be doing on the iPhone as I'm doing this, so it can kind of give me a general idea of the direction that I need to go to create a video. I just click on Done, and there's my script. And then I can go down here and say, write a description, because this is a new thing here, so write a description for this. And there's a description for it. Now it says this document is a script for a video, so I would go back and say, well, actually write a script that I can put on YouTube for this or on my website for it. And basically with that, what I have now is everything that I need for a video. And most of it is just all AI kind of thing. I'll put in my links here into the database for it, Vimeo link, YouTube link, that kind of thing. But outside of that, that's basically how I use it. And then what I can do with that as well is I can go back over to my lesson organizer, and I can view, I want to come up with some Setapp kind of things. So here's all my Setapp ideas, my favorite apps in Setapp. I want to come up with a little bit more longer, getting to know, kind of thing. So these won't be really long, but it's just kind of a general idea of getting to know iCloud, that kind of thing. Here's all my videos that I publish and what days they publish, and I can click on any one of them to open it up, and then I can see all the details for that. So, just a nice little project organizer that does a little bit more than what a typical database does. So, any questions on that? I see there is a question on Apple Maps. We'll get to that towards the end. So Canva does not provide envelopes for invitations. Thank you, Ann, or cards that you print. So you have to do that yourself, but it will print the card. So that's Notion and how I use Notion to help me get all organized and all that. Again, available on the Mac, iPad, and iPhone. They do have all three of those available. Basically, it's just a web app, kind of thing. All right. Setapp. I have to mention Setapp, and this is relatively new to me, and I have a few newcomers in here with Setapp. Setapp is turning out to be just a little bit of a darling of an app for me, because I'm finding myself using a lot of their apps, and some of them are my favorite. So with Setapp, you pay a subscription, $10 a month, $15 a month, and then you have in access or more than 240 apps that you can download. Most of them are for the Mac, a few of them are for the iPad or iPhone, and you do need a Mac in order to use them on the iPad or iPhone because of the way that their QR code works, or how their alternative app store works. That's what I call it, as an alternative app store. So you get this just a tremendous amount of apps, and I'd say most of them are good. There's a couple of them that are like, what are you doing in there? But they do have some gems in there, and I had a whole separate thing on Setapp a while back, so if you want to take a look at that, go and look at that, reasons why I use Setapp. But it saves me hundreds of dollars a year with some of these apps. So yes, and somebody said Notion. Tom said Notion is not available in the App Store. It is only available, when you download it from their site. And they do have a free version. So if you want to kind of try it out, be patient with it. It takes a little bit to wrap around, but once you wrap your head around it, it's really pretty powerful stuff. So Setapp, great app store, alternative app store, and it's saving me a lot of money. So what are some of the apps that I like in it? Well, the first one here is Paste. I used to pay for Paste. Now it's part of Setapp. Paste is a clipboard history, and there's a lot of apps that do clipboard history, a lot of them. And I just found that Setapp, I just really liked how it looks visually wise, and it also is available on the iPad and iPhone. So with Paste, let's go over to a website, and we'll go to Apple. I'm going to copy that URL. You know what? Let's go over to Claude. This is my preferred AI for this month. I really like Claude. I'm going to copy that URL. Let's just go and copy this text. I like what they have there. And like, oh crap, you know what? I need something that I copied 3 things ago. I need to get my clipboard history. Well, with Paste, all I have to do is just Command-Shift-V, and here is my clipboard history. So here's Apple. Here's my text that I wrote. Here's Claude. Here's that text that I copied. So I can just sit here and grab what I want. I can search. I can even permanently save these into different, what they call our pins. So if this is something that I use on a regular basis, I want to keep it permanently in my clipboard. All I have to do is just put it into one of these pins. I just control click and I can pin it to any one of these. I can name it so I can easily search for it later. And I can pull this up. And again, I can access the same clipboard on my iPad and my iPhone because this does work cross-platform. So Paste is something that I've been used for several years, and like I said, there are a ton of other ones out there, and I'm not saying anything bad about those other ones, but first of all, I like the visual side of it. I do get a little like, oh, that's kind of cool. You know, it's fun to me. You got to make computers fun. I can't look at spreadsheets and lists all day, so I just go Command-Shift-V and grab what I want and be done with it. Just works really, really nice. So that's Paste. The other one that I use with Setapp is Bartender. So if we look up at the top, I'm just going to close my window here. If we look up at the top here, I have all these menu extras. The more apps you install, and there, a lot of developers are putting these menu extras in there. And they're great if you only have 2 or 3 apps that have these. They just add a little bit to the menu. But when you get in my case, there's a ton of menu extras up there, and they just start getting lost. And on top of that, when you open up an application, let's go to Safari, the actual Safari menus override the menu extras, so now I just lost some of those menu extras. They're not there anymore. So what do? Well, that's where Bartender comes into play. With Bartender, what I can do is hide all of them. I click on the 3 dots, there they are. Click outside, they disappear. So now I'm not having all that extra noise up there. Now you can easily arrange these. I can go into Bartender here and say, you know what? I would like to have, these are the stuff that's going to be hidden. Let's say that I want to have Paste show all the time. Now Paste is going to show all the time. So I can rearrange how these are shown, what order they're in. I can even adjust the spacing and make them tighter so they fit in there more. On top of that, what you're also able to do is trigger. You can save different presets. So I could say I have a set for Ecamm, and it has all my Ecamm camera menu extras up there. Well, if I'm not presenting or recording, I don't need to have all that up there. So then I would create another one for when I'm, in QuickBooks or, doing, different things. And then you can set triggers in there that say, open this preset when I'm in a specific app. Or when I'm in a specific location, if you're using trip mode, which is another Setapp where it will lower your bandwidth. It won't back up your computer to different, if you use an online backup, that kind of thing. Just like if you're at Starbucks, so you're not using a lot of bandwidth. You don't need that when you're at home. So you could set it to a location, and then all of a sudden trip mode would be up here. You leave that location, trip mode would disappear. So it's just a nice app for all of these menu extras that can start cluttering up your menu bar. Now, if you have a large Mac display, it's not that big of a deal, but when you're dealing with a MacBook Air, like what I'm doing here, there's a lot of them there, and they can get in the way and get annoying, kind of thing. So Bartender takes care of all of that. You don't have to do that. Another one is GoodTask. So this one is a little bit of a gem for me that it comes through Setapp. And I've tried time blocking. I used to use, I don't use Apple Reminders, or I didn't use Apple Reminders up until GoodTask here. I used another thing that's very popular, to-do list. What I like to do is I like to have all of the things that I want to do today along with all of my different events. So they're just in one list. Now you can do that with Fantastical and BusyCal. And BusyCal is a Setapp app, and I do use it, and it's a good app. It's a little bit more than what the calendar app is, and probably the biggest thing is you can put your tasks over here. And the calendar app, it's just a calendar app. The reminders app is just a reminders app. So you have to have two different apps open to view your day per se. Well, with Fantastical and BusyCal, I can now put all of my lists in here and see what's going on for the day. Okay, that's nice. But I don't like to have a calendar centric. So BusyCal and Fantastical are calendar centric. They focus on the calendar and then they throw the reminders in from the side. So primary focus is calendar, but here's also what you have going on today in the to-dos. I want to reverse that. I want to see my primary things are what I need to do today. I need to create this newsletter. I need to do this. I need to do that. And it's all based off of what I put in my reminders here. So I can go to my phone and say, remind me to do this, remind me to do that, and it'll add it to the reminders app. And then what I can do is view my tasks with my events sprinkled in there. So that's what GoodTask does. Calendar, BusyCal, Fantastical, calendar focused. Throw your reminders in with BusyCal and Fantastical, but you don't have a lot of options with that. GoodTask, the opposite, throws your tasks in there. You have a lot of options, great smart lists, and also here are your calendar events. So when I go to GoodTask here, we can see here's my task that I have in the Reminders app. So if I go over to the Reminders app here, there is sharpen the mower blade. I need to take out the trash. I need to vacuum the car. And there they are. Take the trash out, sharpen the car. And the other one must be for a different day. So you can see it's putting it by day already. So it's just works great. Now I'm not going to sharpen the mower blade until tomorrow. So I just go over here. Whoop, let's go in one day. It's no longer there. It's going to be available now tomorrow. So I'm going to vacuum the car tomorrow. Well, actually, I'm not going to vacuum the car probably 4 days. Now it's going to move that out 4 days ahead of time. So you can easily get to, and you can control click on them to do that as well. You can easily organize, see your day all planned out and what you need to do. And these are undated, so they don't have a date in them at all. And the beauty of it is we have all these different lists in here. And the Reminders app can do that. It does have smart lists, but their smart lists are very limited. It's you can't add a lot of things to it, where with, as an example, let's go and add a list. I'm going to create a smart list. We'll call this one test. So what I would like to do is have this be a list that is in my inbox, or I'd like it to be a list that is my errands. Oh, wait, I can't do that. I can't have two lists in a smart list. So it's not too smart, I guess. So I'm kind of stuck there. I can't do it. Well, with smart lists in here, I can create all kinds of rules in here and say I want it to be part of this list and this list, but not this, but do this and not that. Not that I get that far, but you can really go hog wild with all of these lists here. And you can integrate your calendar events in there, and it puts it in chronological order. So basically what I do when I'm working is I have this GoodTask sitting on my monitor on my MacBook Pro. So it's sitting right there. When I'm not presenting or anything, that's where my GoodTask is, and I can kind of track my progress of what I need to do. Now, Spark is another thing of a favorite app, which I talk about in another one, but I think I have it. So yeah, Spark Mail is the next. So Spark Mail, I won't spend too much time on it, but it does relate to GoodTask here, and I'll show you why. They just added a new feature. If you watched my, or were with me when I talked about Spark Mail, I told you that Spark Mail, the developers of Spark Mail, every 2 to 3 weeks, they seem to be adding more features. So they just added another feature. So I go over to Spark Mail. I'll first say why I like it. If I open up my Mail app, this is what I would see. They're both connected to the same accounts. So this is what I would see. And this is typical, 1,000 messages in there. Okay, which ones are my important ones? And this is where you get overwhelmed and you're just like, I'm done. I'm going to get out of it. Well, I'm going to look at those same 1,000 emails in Spark. That's it. All those 1,000 emails are either notifications. I have 109 notifications. Not that they're not important, but they're notifications. They're not from a specific person. And then I have newsletters, 946 newsletters in there. So it basically filters all that out for me automatically. Love that. On top of that, what I can do is I can easily snooze these. Now, Reminders does have Remind Me, they call it. And with Remind Me, let's say I wanted to deal with something, what I tell people, like when they register for Class Within Mug, and I'm going to start telling people with like my stuff here. Let's say that this is an email that talks about there's an event coming up on December 15. Well, you want to be reminded of that. Well, what you can do is you can go and remind me later, and I would say 12:15. Now the email is still there, and as I get new email, what's going to happen is this will slowly go down here and lower in the list, as you can imagine, just like anything else. But on December 15, this thing's going to jump right up to the top here to remind me. Great. But what I don't like is it's still in my inbox here. Just hide it. I don't need to see that. I'm not going to deal with it until December 15. So why are you keeping it in my inbox? So when we do the same thing here, let's say I'm not going to deal with this until December 15. I go snooze, December 15. And watch what happens. When I do that, it disappears. I can easily find it by going over to snoozed. So it is in there, and I can easily find it. But now it's not part of my inbox. So it just clears up that clutter. So there's just a lot of pluses with Spark Mail. It has its minuses. I wish you could open up multiple windows, as an example. It definitely has its minuses, but the pluses override what the minuses are. And I can still use Apple Mail if I want to. They work hand in hand with each other. The other thing that I like that they just added to it is it now works with reminders. So let's just say that this is something that I need to address tomorrow. Well, what I would like to do is I would like to add it to my to-do list. So what I do is I just go, okay, there is a keyboard shortcut, but they just added it, so I can't remember what it is. Oh, Option R. So I could just go Option R. And all I have to do is just click on this. Oops, I'm not set up for I have to hook this up into the Setapp version. But basically what I would be able to do is say, put this in my inbox or whatever list I want, and then it'll go into my Reminders app. And guess what happens when it goes into my Reminders app? It goes into my GoodTask, and it shows up right here. So it shows up on that monitor on my MacBook Pro, and I can deal with it when I need to deal with it. So it's just a nice addition that Spark Mail added with that. Yes, Spark Mail is in Setapp. I just haven't hooked it up yet.
Yeah, a question about SparkMail. Like you, I have a lot of newsletters.
Mhm.
Uh, Now, does SparkMail let you do some kind of rules to kind of collect? Like I have a bunch of newsletters from Stratacherry. I have a bunch from different trusted voices. I like to group each of them together so I can
Right.
just sort of read
Yeah.
them sequentially. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. So here's Holland Sentinel. So it doesn't have rules, but what they do have is, first of all, let's just say this Holland Sentinel is not a newsletter. It's something else. Well, what you can do is you can go over here, and I think it's, no, where is it? You can say that this is a where is it? A newsletter. I can say that, well, actually, it's not a newsletter, it's a notification. So those are its rules, something along that line. But what you're talking about, on top of that, they added this about a month, 2 months ago, group. So what it'll do is it'll group all of my Holland Sentinels together. So let's go ahead and do that. It would group all of them together. So I would see one Holland Sentinel here, and then what you click on it, and then you're going to see all of your Holland Sentinels in a group. So yes, it can do that.
That's perfect. That's perfect. That's worth the price of admission right there for me.
Oh, it's like I say, it really is great. It has its pitfalls. Don't get me wrong, but it is great. So, and it is part of Setapp. So it does work with Gmail accounts. Actually, they claim it works a little bit better with Gmail accounts than what Apple Mail. Apple Mail has been known to not play well with Gmail. I think the Ventura and Sonoma are getting better, but they have it's known to not work well, not play well. It works, but Gmail works a little bit differently than all other mail clients. So, are you there? Yeah. Okay. So said Smart Mail, Spam Sieve, or both. I don't use Spam Sieve. I use Spark Mail. Works great for me. It doesn't. It seems to work perfect for me. Spam Sieve is great. I'm not familiar with Smart Mail, but Spam Sieve is great. Don't get me wrong. But Spam Sieve, I don't think it does the newsletter thing, and I like that grouping thing that I just mentioned. It has templates. So when, if you write the same kind of letter to multiple people, you can save it as a template. You have inbox. You can group different emails together into one inbox. A lot of cool stuff with it. And as I said, I can send these off over to reminders as well. And it has AI. So, AI. So what you're able to do when you respond to someone is, write me an email. Or on the flip side, let's see here, do we have an email? So let's say I wanted to get a summary of this. I could go to AI here and say, write a summary for me, and it'll give me a concise little summary of what that email is. So if you get long emails, I always joke about it, she writes novels. So what I'm able to do is, if she were to write me one of her novels, I'd be able to go to AI and summarize it. So just a lot of nice stuff with it. Again, not perfect, but it does work really, really good. So, all right, the next one is, now we're going to get a little bit more into the fun stuff. Luminar Pro, again, Setapp. Luminar Pro is something that I played around with for a while, but I just wasn't willing to pay for it. So with Luminar Pro, it is a separate app. You're going to see I have here, or Luminar Neo. It's not Pro, it's Neo. Sorry about that. Luminar Neo. But I don't use the app itself because I am a huge fan of Photos. Photos is another favorite app of mine. I just like how it works with iCloud and all my devices. It just works really, really well for what I needed to do. And their editing is really pretty good. But Neo just does a phenomenal job. So let's take a look at a photo in Photos. We're going to go to this photo here, and I need to revert to the original. All right, so I have this photo here. This is over Durango, Silverton from 2009. I had a cheap old camera that I used for this, prior to where the iPhones were good. I don't even know if the iPhone was out back then. But anyway, so I took this photo. It's kind of cool, but you're going to see that the sky is blown out. I don't have a lot of detail in here. I mean, there's some detail, but not a whole lot. So what I can do is I can go and fix all that with Neo, and it uses a lot of AI to do this. So I just go to Edit. We go up to the little 3 dots here, and then I have all of my different tools that I can use. I could open this up in Acorn and all that, which is more like Photoshop, but I'm going to go with Luminar Neo. And it's going to open it up, again, from within the Photos app, and there it is. So first thing it's going to do is it's going to analyze this photo, and it's going to say, you know, I can add all these different effects to it. These are kind of like filters. You know, it'll try to go and fix it up. So let's go with, is this a landscape? Let's go with, well, animal friends. So we go like that. So it's analyzing all these. And once it gets done, I can just go and hover over these, hopefully. But you could normally be able to hover over these. Let's try that again. Animal friends. Eventually, this is a slow MacBook. This is a cheap MacBook. But eventually what will happen is as I hover over these, I'd be able to see the changes that it made. It's kind of cool, but I'm not a huge filter fan. What we can also do is go over here to Edit, and we can really manipulate this. Now, I'm not a huge fan of manipulating photos. I like to keep them as pure, but of course, we do want to fix them up. First thing I'd like to do is add a sky to this. I mean, it was a nice day out there. Let's at least add a sky. So I go over here to sky. I choose my sky. We're going to go with this one here. And now it is analyzing it. So yeah, Tom says it's incredible, and it is. You're going to see once it gets done analyzing here, I'm going to have a nice blue sky up there, and then I can easily change it, and there it is. Well, maybe it was a little more cloudy that day, or maybe we needed, you know, that one looks pretty good, a little western look to it. So there's my new sky. Now, what I would like to do next is I need to go and develop it, and I want to increase the exposure just a little bit, brighten it up a little bit there. Next thing I would like to do is add a little vignette, and we can do a lot of this in photos, but the one that I really like with this as well is details, and I'm just going to add a little bit of detail here. Here, we'll go extreme. And now I just added a lot of detail. So you can't really see what it's doing there. Well, let's view the original. I just go down here, and now I can view the original. But on top of that, I can go, I love these little sliders. And I went extreme on the detail, but take a look at that detail on him. Now, he's a little bit much there, so let's go and back that down. Back it down just a little bit. Bring this up, and we'll sharpen it up here a little bit. So now, I mean, you can see the wrinkles in his clothes there. And AirPod fell out. Look at the hair on the horse, or when we look at the building. There's the original. Can add a little more detail in there. But it just does a really, there you can really see it. But it just does a really nice job of fixing photos up and all that. And there we go. And as you saw, we can revert it to the original. So any changes I make, I can always go back. I can go and further adjust these images, you know, these edits. Here are all the edits that I made to it. And once I'm done, I just go Save Changes, and it saves it back over to the Photos app. And now it's in my Photos. There's the new one. We'll take a look at one more here. Let's go with, it does really good job with RAW. So here's a RAW photo. There's a lot of detail down in here. Apple Photos can't pick that up. So I go and edit this in Luminar, and Apple Photos might, you know, it could pick it up, but it's not a raw editor. Well, Luminar notices that this is raw, and now what I can do is go and develop this. And my shadows down here, there's a lot of detail in here. Look at that. Just pick that right up. Couldn't do that with the Photos app, at least not that, you know, because that's the power of RAW. You can pick up that detail like that. And then what I can do is, you know, change the sun. Let's go back. So I'm going to save the changes. I want to show you one other trick with this. So that's the detail in there. And we're going to go back over to this shot here because I thought this was kind of fun. So I added it. And I'm not big into this, but it is kind of neat. I need to turn on Do Not Disturb here. Phone calls. I go to Edit. So we're back at my thing. And now what I want to do is I want to add, where's my sun? Magic light? Nope. Structure, color, black and white, denoise, landscape. Relight? No. Sun rays. So place it right over here. The sun is just coming up over the mountain there. And I go like this. Oh, bring it right. You can see I'm just moving and you can see what it's doing there. And we'll go with that. And I save the changes. And there it is. The sun's ready to set behind the mountain there, and we get the sun rays. So just really cool stuff with you that you can do with it if you wanted to. And it has the face where I can make myself lose 10 pounds, all that kind of stuff as well, if you wanted to go that far. But it works great right within Photos. So I'm doing this all within Photos. I never open up the Luminar app. It just does it right from within Photos. So that is Luminar, and you know, just a fun little app to play with that I never would have played with if I didn't have Setapp. So another one, Play. Now this is not part of Setapp, and I've mentioned this app before as well. Play is like the reading list for videos. So I'm going to go back over to Safari, and let's say I was reading an article, so we'll just go to CNN here, and what I want to do is take a look at this article, but I'm going to add it later to the reading list so I can read it later. So that's basically how the reading list works. We're probably familiar with that. I can open up the sidebar and go to my reading list from any device and read it. Another reason why I like Safari. Just very easy to use for a reading list. But videos works a little bit, I mean, you can put the link in there for the videos, but then you're putting the link for the web page and all that, and I'd just rather have the video. So with Play, what you're able to do is create a reading list for videos. So it's an app that runs on the Mac, iPad, iPhone, and Apple TV. So I'm just going to open this up. This is not part of Setapp, so now we're getting outside of Setapp. Todoist was the one that I used to use. So I have Play in here. There it is, Play. So this is my reading list. Let's go and add another video to it. And when I go to Safari here and I go to YouTube, and I know I could bookmark it or I could save it later in YouTube, but I don't like the user face of YouTube. And you know what? I use WordPress. I guess I should take a look at this. He's really good. So what I want to do is copy this link. I can actually see if I can share it. Edit extensions. Do we have Play in here? On the iPhone and the iPad, we can actually share it with Play. But all I have to do is just copy the URL. Try it again. Copy link. And when I go to Play here, import that in there, and now it just added it to that list. So now what I'm able to do is go to my iPhone or my iPad or my Apple TV, and I'm going to have this list here. So now I can just sit at the Apple TV, go to that Play app, and watch videos that I wanted to watch. And it works with not only with YouTube, it works with Vimeo and TED Talk. It works with a number of different video services. So it's not a YouTube only. And once you get done with it, it puts it over to watched, just like a reading list. You can tag them, so I'd be able to tag this as WordPress, so then I could see all of my WordPress videos grouped together. So it's just a nice little app that helps me create a playlist for videos that I want to watch. So, and like I say, the problem with YouTube is it's hard for me to find what videos I want to watch or whatever, and it's YouTube only. This works with other, I do like watching TED Talk, so I could put TED Talk in here. I could put other types of videos in there, and it'll work with those as well. And again, I can go right to my Apple TV and watch them. So just a nice little app for that. The cost of it. First of all, let's go over to the website. And I'll have links to these apps when I put this online. But Play, I have to actually go to his help page to find where it is. And we go down to the bottom here. I mean, he's a developer, and I think he just kind of does this for fun. So what I need to do is go to Marco. Oh, there it is. So I just take that off of there. There. So these are some of his apps. Music Harbor, I'm not real familiar with that. But here's his Play. And if I go to his press kit, I can see LinkedIn, Rumble, Khan Academy, Letterboxd, Apple Music, YouTube, Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple TV. So it works with a number of different things there. But it also, well, not it also, let's take a look at the cost of it. So I go to the App Store, $3. And with that $3, it comes with all of the, it covers all of the different devices. So you can download it on all your different devices. So it's a cheap app that does a lot. So that's Play. GoPro Quick. So GoPro Quick, I do have a GoPro, but I haven't fired it up in probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years by now. GoPro Quick is an app that GoPro bought. I bought it before GoPro bought it. I paid a lot cheaper, probably $5. But it's just a fun little app to put videos together. Now, iMovie does have something similar. It's called iMovie Magic or Magic iMovie, but this is far, far more powerful. So I'll show you why. So let's go ahead and open this up. And I'm going to create a new, so we're just going to get out of this one here. Discard and edit. So I'm just going to create a new edit. So right down here, create a new edit. And first thing I need to do is just add my videos, photos and videos. So let's go with my favorites here. We recently went to Arizona about 9 months ago and visited our friends. So let's go and build a video. And so I have photos and video. So here's a video, photo. So it's a little bit of both in there. So now I just go and tap on Create My Edit. And it's going to put all that together. It's going to add music. And I don't think, I couldn't get the music to work yesterday or demo the music. Yeah, it's not demoing the music. But there's music to it. And what it's doing is it's changing everything to the beat of the music. So when it changes to a different scene, it's at the beat of the music. So it's like, like a true music video or something like that. And the nice thing about this is, so there it is. There's another video in there. You can kind of see how it swirled around. I don't like that style. All I have to do is just go over to a different style here. And now it's changing it. I can go and change the order of these. I can make them stay on the screen longer. Let's go and change the theme one more time. We're going to go with, let's go with Epic. And on the fly, it's just going and changing it. Let's go with Slice. Change their light. I think this puts a little bit of a filter on it. There's a little different one. And again, it's all doing it to the music. But on top of that, this is nice for landscape, but how do most people view their videos these days? Kids these days. landscape. That's the only way to do it, right? Well, no, they hold their phone up like this, and that's how they watch a video. So I need to reformat this back like we were talking with Canva, how we can reformat it. Adam was talking about how we can reformat it. Well, if we look, you're going to see format. So now what I'm able to do is tap on this, and I'm going to say I need this for a 9:16, which is iPhone. And just like that, instantly, it's formatted for an iPhone. So I could create different versions if I wanted to. Oh, is this going on Instagram? Oh, okay, Instagram's square. So I just go over to 1:1, and there it is, square. Instant. I can change the music, do all kinds of stuff with it, and it's all just down here at the bottom. So that, I use that a lot to put my videos together when we go on a trip or whatever, and I just want to show it to my family. I don't want to spend a lot of time, and I mean, you can do that with iMovie, but try to put it to a beat of a music and all that different, you can't, it's just not, it take too long. I just throw it in this thing, find some good music, and you can choose your own music, but I use their music, so then I can put it on YouTube or Facebook or whatever without having to worry about copyright. And it's set to go. It looks good, looks professional, and it's ready to go. So I love GoPro Quick, and I've been a user of it for, God, years, kind of thing. So that's GoPro Quick. So that I think that is it, what I have. So we can open this up to different questions. But next week I'm going to have an AMA, Ask Me Anything, back to the AMA thing. And outside of that, thank you for everything and your support. And let's open it up to questions. Was I not able to hear anybody when my headphone fell out? Oh, okay. Yep. Good. It's been quiet.
We'll say this, you have some excellent presentation about some wonderful apps. And I have 2/3 what you presented, and I support all of them. They're wonderful.
Yeah, they're just, some of them are a lot of fun, and I could keep going with some of these, but I thought I'd, like I said, break it up a little bit. I'll add in there that I'm becoming a big fan of Setapp. I'll add, I am an affiliate of it, so they do give me, a kickback. Not much, but everything helps. And if you want to use Setapp, go through the link on my webpage, which I'll have up tomorrow. But then you can try it out for 7 days, and if you like it, then Setapp, pays me, like $10 or something like that. But just another way to help support me. But I am promoting Setapp not for that reason. I'm promoting because there's just a lot of good stuff with it. There really is. So
I was just amazed at everything here that you presented today, just in this short period of time. This stuff I've never tried. I don't really have the time. So just being exposed.
I don't either.
It was like, whoa.
I don't either. But some of these apps. So GoPro Quick I've been using for years. Paste I've been using for years. I used to use Photoshop, so the Luminar Neo, that's new to me, but impressive. So that was pretty easy for me to pick up. But some of these apps I've been using for years, which make them part of my favorite apps. Notion is probably about 2 years for me, but it's in that database mind frame. And once I wrap my head around it, as you saw, it really helps me with keeping me on pace with everything. And then Spark Mail, not perfect, but it's certainly, for me, it's far better than what Mail does. So
It's nice to be creative. I've used the free version of Canva
Oh,
to make catchy little GIFs that a couple clubs here in Sun City West have put on their websites.
Yeah.
And not fancy, but
Right.
it's the message across.
Right. And they do have some pretty, they have the templates that they have. It's really impressive what they have. And I've, Apple needs to step up the game with Keynote, because I'm telling you, it's really, really impressive what you can do with it. So.
Yeah, I used a template from Canva when I did the program on Evernote for NMUG,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and that was a template for, so you didn't have to worry about any of the design of it. You just
right.
kind of filled out the blanks.
Yeah. And it's so easy to change stuff too. Maybe you're not comfortable with one thing. And I mean, Keynote
Change
does
the color,
have
yeah.
images, but they're the little icon images where I can get a blinking Christmas tree or, just everything in Canva. Thousands of items. So.
Now, are you using Clean My Mac from Setapp?
So I paid for that. Yes, that is, I do use Clean My Mac. It's the only one that I've ever really recommended. I've been a Clean My Mac user for years, and
Yeah, me too.
I don't rely on it too much. But God, when I want to get rid of something or I need disk space, when I need it, I really like it, and I love the interface to it, the developer. And he's the one that's behind Setapp. So
Yep.
Clean My Mac Paw is behind Setapp.
I used Setapp for almost a year, and then I was feeling guilty about all the money I'm spending on various Grammarly and
Yeah.
Auto AI and a few things. And I said, well, I'm not using the apps that I could. And I find I have trouble getting over the muscle memory of using the apps I'm so used to since I've been using a Mac for over 30 years. And but I might give it a try again because
They
I like
have,
some of the ones
yeah,
you
and they
improved.
have some pretty interesting AI. Typing Mind is one that. Let's go back over to my Mac. I don't know if I have it on here. I'll have to go to Setapp. Typing Mind is the AI. They have several AI in there, but this is the one that I find interesting. But it comes with ChatGPT, so you can use ChatGPT with it. And I played around with a lot of the, it's kind of an emerging market, right? So they're leapfrogging each other. I'm telling you, I absolutely love Claude. Claude is my best friend right now. Eventually, I'll probably befriend him, but right now, that guy is great. And you have to, with Typing Mind, it only works with ChatGPT. It does work with ChatGPT 4 with Setapp. But if you want to use Claude, you have to hook up an API to it and all that. So then you have to pay for Claude and, But it actually is, it is a nice, write a script for a video on how to use Setapp. And ChatGPT, OpenAI just announced last week that they are going to open it up. I think it's going to have a memory, or you're going to be able to get at stuff in the last 6 months. Or anyway, it can't go past 2021, so now it's going to go up to 2023, which Claude does. That's why I like Claude. It's a little bit more relevant. I can't ask ChatGPT about iOS 17 because it doesn't know about it. Well, it will soon. They just announced that it's going to be doing that. So maybe I'll switch back over to ChatGPT. But anyway, I just type in here, write a script, Dan sitting in a well, because it knows who I am, because I set this, you set up a profile. I'm sitting in a well-lit office, casually dressed, but neat, and just phenomenal what you can do with these things. And this is part of Setapp. Like I say, it does use ChatGPT 4. Mm-hmm. Nothing against ChatGPT 4. I have not used it. ChatGPT 3.5, I never paid for that. So I've just went over to Claude. I don't pay for Claude either. But I got to tell you, looking at this is pretty good. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Wassing. Today I'm going to walk you through how to use Setapp. And then I do a overhead shot of Dan's screen showing the Setapp. So that's where I would use this guy right there, my overhead shot. So there's my camera that no, it's a separate. Claude is separate. Mm-hmm. Yes, Typing Mind is kind of like an envelope for all of it. It uses ChatGPT 4, which is, when you get Setapp, it does use ChatGPT 4. But if you want to use Claude, you have to pay Claude $20 a month to get to their API, and then go from there. So It doesn't use Claude natively, but it does use ChatGPT-4 natively, and ChatGPT-4 is really good. The other thing that it does do is it has plugins, so I could go to a new chat, and we have prompts, all that kind of stuff. Where's the? See, I should play around with this a little bit more, but it has plugins, so I could say search this website and tell me about this website, and I plug in the website, and it'll do that. You have to set that up a little bit. It's a little bit on the nerdy side, but it will do that. So, yeah, pretty neat stuff. And that is part of. They have a few of them. This is the one that stuck out with me, at least for me. So. Somebody mentioned Text Sniper, and I think there was another text one. Yes, those are good. Text Sniper's been around for a long time. OCR app that can extract and recognize any non-searchable and non-editable text on your Mac screen. So that's Tom mentioned that. So that's a good one too. I think that one's been around for a long time as well. So some of these old ones are oldie but goodies, you know. Any other questions? Somebody had a question on maps earlier.
An unmanned gate, and it's not intended for individuals. It's only for emergency vehicles. And
Uh-oh, we lost you.
have a certain.
You're back.
Unfortunately, map tries to route me through that.
Through there?
gate.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I can tell you is if we go to my iPhone, this is what we're talking about. I just put out this video. Well, it's not on my site yet, but if we go to Maps, oh, this is my phone. I don't want that one. You want this one, my demo phone. So if I go over to Maps here, and let's go to Los Ranchos. Well, we have a little bit of an echo there. So let's say that something was wrong with this. What I'm able to do is go down to the very bottom, and you're going to see report an issue. And we have all these different issues here. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe, multiple things, or maybe the location on the map. It's not really a location that is wrong. So probably other things. And add a comment. Maybe take a photo of it, and then you can go and add.
I did that, and they assigned me a case number, and they said that it was kind of out of the scope of what they did, and it may be they sent it to another group, and it said it may be a long-term issue.
Yeah,
that's an intersection.
Because in their mind, it's still a roadway in their mind, not realizing that it's private, Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, of course, Google and Waze have fixed that.
They have fixed it? Yeah. I'll tell them that then.
Yes.
Google's better.
Yeah, I should. But what about if I
throw
use
that
the
at 'em.
power of numbers and try to solicit other people to make my case?
Maybe you can try that. Maybe that would work. I don't know how that, but absolutely. I would take a picture and just say, I would absolutely say, Waze doesn't have this. They were able to fix it. And Google Maps has this fixed. Throw that at them. And then if that doesn't work, get some other people in your community to do the same thing. I don't know how that works. So
I'll try that, see what happens.
Okay.
But I know on simple things, they've fixed things like spelling of road names and going to the right intersection for the end of the road and that sort of thing. But this is different.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, everyone, let's call that a wrap. We're at an hour and a half, so I think that's good. Again, thank you, everyone, for your support. And next week, I'll be having my AMA, one of my AMAs, and everyone have a good week. So,
Dan, and
Thank you. Over and out.
Yep.
Happy Veterans Day.